seat.
I'm so excited. So many kids.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Winchester Public School Board of Education regular meeting for February 10th, 2026. Item 1, call to order, Pledge of Allegiance. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call.
Joseph Santoro.
Chrissy Rylander.
Frank Oliveri.
Shane Centrella.
Kurt Warner.
Julie Luby.
Nora Mukarski.
Eleanor Bishop.
Carol Kiak.
Jonathan Morrow.
Okay, I'd like to move on to item 2, approval of the agenda. Would anyone like to?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. I'll give Joe the second. All in favor? All right, on to what we're really here for. Item 3, student showcase.
We very recently, I believe Friday, had the absolutely most exciting day of the school year, the 100th day of school. As you could imagine, a lot of early learning is math and numbers, and the idea that after 9 you hit 10 and then you hit 100. So the 100th day lends itself to a lot of great learning activities. So we have some sharing for you of all the different amazing things when we celebrated the 100th day of school.
All right. Good evening, Board of Ed members and families. We are so excited to be here today. I've brought with me some first and second graders who are going to share a little bit about some of the celebrations they've done on their 100th day of school in their classrooms, but most importantly, how much they have been learning in these 100 and now 102 days of school, as they told me today. But first, we're going to do some introductions. So we're going to start down here. Hello, my name is.
Hello, my name is Nola. I'm in second grade, and my teacher's name is Miss Blonde. I'm in ninth grade, and I'm in second grade, and my teacher's name is Miss Blonde. My name is Daniel. I'm in second grade, and my teacher's Miss Blonde. I'm Mabel, and I'm in second grade, and my teacher's name is Blonde. Hello, my name is Ellie. And I'm in fourth grade, and my teacher's name is Romero. Hello, my name is Virginia, and I'm in grade 2, and my teacher's name is Miss Richardson.
Okay, nice job introducing yourself. Thank you, Mark. One thing that I want you to notice is how our students are dressed. Many of them are dressed in some of the things they wore on that day, or they brought posters. So we're going to tell you a little bit about that. So let's start over here. What's something your class did on the 100th day?
The 100th day of school, our class needed a lollipop 100 times, and if you lick it 100 times, that means you won.
Sounds like winning
Where are the
me.
lollipops?
We ate them.
Aw. That sounds pretty good right now.
We could have been bribed, you know.
The 100th day of school is when we had straps of paper, and we stapled them together. Before we did that, we wrote things that we did for 100 days.
And And you see that here before you.
Yeah.
So they wrote all the things they've been learning all year, and they created this 100-day chain that the teacher let me bring to this meeting. Isn't that amazing?
Are there 100 links in that chain?
There are 100 links, right?
Yep.
Yes. All right, Daniel. Want to tell them what your class did?
One thing for the 100th day of school, we made a popsicle tower to see who can put the most Unifix cubes in there, and we're supposed to fit 100 of them in there.
Amazing. And Mabel?
For the 100th day of school, we dressed up.
Dressed up in different things, right? What are some examples? Did some people dress like 100-year-old people? Yeah, like you see here today. Yeah. And some
Hence the
people
wrinkles.
wore special shirts, right? Like we have here.
Oh, that's great.
All right, next job, Mabel. Ellie?
For the 100th day of school, we made 100th day of school crown.
Oh.
I can
She
share.
even kept hers. That's wonderful. Virginia?
They made 100th day of school crowns too.
They made 100 day of school crowns as well.
Okay.
And want to tell them about your shirt?
100 pom-poms.
Wow. Wow.
And Ellie, what's your poster? 100.
Day of loving school.
Oh.
And I love his shirt.
I know.
I survived 100 days of school. I'm fine. I'm fine. Are you fine, Ellie? Yeah. Good.
So we'd like to tell you one more thing, because this, when we were practicing, this really warmed my heart. I asked them, what's your favorite thing or the most important thing you learned in 100 days? Every single student thought of something right away. So we're gonna start over here. What's your favorite thing that you've learned in 100 days?
Learning new things.
Nice.
That we learned like a bunch of vocabulary. Learning about the first Olympics in Olympia.
Oh.
We learned about the legends.
Different cultures, right? Nice job, Mabel. Ellie?
We learned things in math.
Right, you learned a lot of math, right? And what's your favorite thing?
Getting like a human body.
Nice.
All right, and a round of applause.
Yeah.
That's spectacular.
That's awesome.
Every day of the school year, the kids count what day of the school year it is, and they might do it with popsicle sticks or coins, 10 pennies, and when they get to day 10, they swap it for the dime and keep it in the bag on the bulletin board so that they're really learning place value as part of learning the 100.
That's a good idea.
Yes, calendar math allows a lot of really cool stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. We'd love to have you here. Appreciate you coming. You are welcome to leave if you'd like. We'd love for you to stick around, especially for public comment regarding the budget coming up, so feel free to do that as well. All right, moving on to item 4. This is our public comment time. The Winchester Board of Education welcomes you to its business meeting. There are 2 opportunities set aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome and encourage public participation as a valued part of communicating input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following. Please complete the requested information on the sign-in sheet if you wish to speak, which includes your name, address, and email. Please state your name and address when called upon to speak. You will be allotted 3 minutes to share your comments. Please be advised that it is not the practice of the Board of Education to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendent of schools will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. We appreciate your time and thoughtful commentary. At this time, does anyone wish to speak? Does anyone wish to speak? Does anyone wish to speak? Seeing none, we will move on. Okay, moving on to item 5, approval of the minutes. Item A, minutes of the regular board meeting. Does anyone have any corrections, or would anyone like to approve the meeting minutes?
Just a little typo on page 6, you just have a typo. It looks like, under item 7, information items, A, EE enrollment reports,
Okay. Eliminate that first E.
strike.
Strike the first E. Item A, enrollment reports. Anything else? Okay. Would we like to,
Make a motion to approve the minutes from January 13th.
with that change? Can we have a second?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
We weren't there.
Okay. So, all in favor? 7, 2 abstentions? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Are there all 9 of us here?
No,
Tonight?
we weren't, Shane and I weren't there.
Right.
At the regular
so
meeting,
At that meeting,
there were only 7.
I wasn't
7,
there.
okay.
Yep,
So you have 2 abstentions.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what he said.
yep.
Okay.
All right, approval of the minutes of committee meetings. First committee meeting on January 27th is the Teaching and Learning Committee. Anyone like a
Make a motion to approve.
Shane, second?
I'll second.
All in favor who were a part of that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-0. Right, 1, 2, 3. There's only 4. Oh yeah, 5. All right, perfect. Budget and Finance Committee. Anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to
All
approve.
right, Carol will make a motion. Jonathan second. All in favor? Eight zero one. All right, Policy and Bylaw Committee. Anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Jonathan second. All in favor? 3, 3,
3, 0,
0,
6.
6. All right. On to the minutes of the special meeting board retreat on January 31st. Jonathan makes a motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Shane. All in favor?
Sorry. Yeah, oh, yeah, I had it.
9-0.
Sorry.
All right, on to minutes of special meeting budget presentation on February 3rd, 2026.
Make a motion to accept.
Shane,
I'll second.
Joseph, all in favor? 9-0. And then finally, minutes of the special meeting budget workshop on February 5th. Jonathan, second.
A second?
Nora, all in favor? 9-0. All right, perfect. Moving on to item 6, communication. Chairperson's report. I just want to the parents that stayed around, and to all the parents watching or that will be watching, this is an important part. We're right in the middle of formulating our budget. So I please ask, we have another workshop on Thursday. Hopefully we will be getting and approving a budget soon to present to our Board of Selectmen. So please come out voice it. We will have public comment. You can bring your public comment to our board members as well. If you can't make it to a meeting, please reach out to any of the board members here, so they can relay the messages to our board. It's very important that we understand what's in our budget for our kids. It's very important to get parent involvement in that, so we know that we're presenting the right budget for our kids. So please, I beg, come out, support, give vocal, let us know what you need, what you want, so we can provide the best education for all of our kids. And that is all I have. All right. On to item B, student representative reports.
This is Emma Lynn.
All right. Welcome, Emmeline.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Hi. Make sure you're big and loud so we can hear you, okay?
Good evening, board members. Hello, my name is Emmeline Wall. I am a third grader in Miss Maker's classroom. For school activities and events, we had fun celebrating the 100th day of school last Friday. I'm going to share some highlights of what students are learning in Unified Arts. In physical education, students are working on curl up for state testing. Then they will be doing push-up testing, and finally the PACER test will be in March and April. During library innovation, students are launching coding projects. Students are learning that they can modify a digital project to make it respond the way they want. They are testing their code and fixing mistakes when it does not work. They will be able to explain how their code causes something to happen. The central questions they will be asking are: how do small changes in code affect what happens on the screen? How does testing and debugging help improve a program? Here's what Pearson students are learning in art. Third graders are working on echo drawings, getting their eyes and hands to work together in order to notice small details and strengthen their observation skills. Fourth graders are creating an art loom, learning their warp. What is it? Warp from their weft. And carefully crafting a show-stopping pattern. Fifth graders are working on their point perspective unit, where they are learning how to create the illusion of space on paper, a tricky concept for any age. Sixth graders are thinking outside the box with their Noten collage designs, a Japanese design concept that shows harmony and contrasting colors. School improvements or needs. Third graders would like more choices for hot lunch. One great thing about Pearson, third graders were asked what they like about Pearson School. Our teachers are nice to us. The kids are good. I like to study history. We are learning about Roman history and the Justinian Code. The Justinian Code is like there would be a law that says it's illegal to do this. And then there would be another law that says it's perfectly fine to do this. Then people would get confused. They would be put into jail for not doing anything. Not doing anything at all. On the law, because it would say it's perfectly fine to do this, and then it's illegal to do this. And the Justinian Code helps because it organized the laws and then they better understood it. Thank you for inviting me to share Pearson School happenings with you this evening.
All right, thank you.
Emmeline, before you go, who's your teacher?
Miss Maker.
Miss Maker. Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Fantastic.
Great.
Right? This is your.
The art teacher made that one.
Oh,
Listen, you can take credit for it. It's fine.
It's nice, it's honest.
Good job.
That's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Great show.
Because I just recently had to do some portraits.
Take her notes.
A little harder than you think, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Hello. Nice and loud. Hello. My name is Marley Jo McClellan. I'm in second grade. This month, our school is focused on spreading love and kindness through our community. Students are learning simple ways to show kindness, care, and respect for others. Together, we're sharing acts of kindness and highlighting them and displays around the building to celebrate the many ways we show we care. Each grade level are busy learning. Preschoolers are having fun learning with teddy bears. They're counting to 10 and learning about the animals. Kindergartners are learning about Native American and how to measure and comparing math. First graders are reading stories from the Green Fern Zoo. And in math, they're learning about shapes. Second grade, we're reading stories from the job hunt and learning how to measure. We went on a fun field trip to the Institute of American Indian Studies, where we applied and explored our learning about Native Indian culture. One thing I like to see happen at Hinsdale is continuing to be respectful, safe, and engaged. Thank you for having me tonight.
Good job, Marley.
Great
Thank you
job,
very
Marley.
All right, I'm sorry, Julie, but it's all downhill from here.
I know.
Moving on.
Isn't that true?
Moving on to item C, superintendent's report.
Okay. I'm just gonna highlight a few things from my report. I wanna show you just a little bit of what literacy night looked like. Last week, Monday night, we had a ball. It was a district-wide event at Pearson School. Ms. St. Hilaire and Ms. Ball really ran with the ball on this event, which was grant-funded. Shannon had written a grant to Dollar General, who granted us about $4,500, I think, which allowed us to buy books. What you see in the top right corner there is as the kids were leaving, they were allowed to select one or two books to take home with them, which we felt really good about. The idea that kids have books in their hands and books in their home is not only exciting to think about, but there's so much research that says that kids who see themselves as readers, kids who see themselves as people who own books, make greater gains throughout their lives. The reason they were able to make choices between those books is that all of the activities throughout the event highlighted those books. So there were activities where they could sit down and interact with the books, both in the gym and in the cafeteria. There were authors, there were students running activities, there were games. There was even an infant toddler corner set up with sort of plushy things to keep babies safe, and they were looking at books and listening to stories. Everything about this event was spectacular. The theme of it was a book tasting, thus the chef uniforms that you see. And there were little creatures all around, cut out on the walls and the ceiling, sort of leading the way through the building. The picnics at, the ants that would be at the picnic. Everything about it was spectacular. It was a bitter cold night in the dark in January, and we probably had 100 people there.
Great.
My thought is nobody knew what it was other than the flyer that we sent out, because it was a first for us. My hunch is when we repeat this next year, even if it is -10 degrees, you will see double the amount of participants, because it was just amazing. The kids all had little passports, and every book that they tasted, they got a stamp in there. It was just amazing on every level. So great job to Renee, to Shannon, to all of the administrators, and so many of our staff came to help run the event. It was just a great night for our district.
Has that grant been opened up again?
I think it's a fall grant. I think we got it this year to use this year. So
Okay.
needless to say, and I think we may have gotten it in the past.
No,
No?
that was the first year.
That was
right?
the first.
I think,
Maybe
Yeah.
we looked at it last year and it was
Yeah.
too late. So we will clearly be looking to do that again.
perfect.
I'll also highlight for you, as I think you all know, we are back in the life of, and there's some pictures from 100 Day, which I didn't highlight necessarily just because you've already seen a little, but isn't that awesome? The thing that strikes me as I look, these kids are happy. They are learning, they are engaged, and they are having a ball, and that is the goal. We all know that when we're doing something we're enjoying, we're going to engage with it differently, and so we really are focused around rich learning experiences that are really intellectually engaging, that make kids smile and laugh and think. So the next thing I want to highlight in my report to you is that we are back in the business of drones. We have a group of children who are participating after school twice a week as part of a club that is a competition team. I think we have 3 teams that we can take to competitions. We went this past weekend, and by we, I mean Ms. St. Hilaire, took the kids, well, the parents physically took them, but she led our crew down to Branford, of all things, while it was doing yet another weather thing on Saturday morning. We were able to go since it's parent transport, but the kids went down there. This was their first? their first competition, and as you know, with any athletic or dance or, you know, any activity that kids do, the first competition is a little daunting. They got to see really what it was all about. We had one of our teams make it into a playoff round, which is fabulous. It is, these are all, I'll say, green droners, if you will. You know, when they began this fall, they didn't know how to do an emergency stop. Please don't ask me to explain, I have no idea either, I'm just repeating. But they really did not enter this activity with drone skills. Much like perhaps a high school golf team, sometimes people show up and barely ever touched a club, but, right? But we can teach them. So,
What grades were there at that competition?
It's mostly high school.
Mostly high school, yeah, sure.
and our team is
Elementary.
fifth and
Yeah.
sixth, right?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Cool.
And they don't, in a large competition, they would have a middle school and a high school division, but in the smaller competitions, there's just one division. So even at the easiest, if you will, we'd be competing against middle schoolers, and in most of the competitions, we're probably just mixed in with everyone. And we are hosting an event on March 14th. So you'll have the opportunity right here at Pearson School. So I hope that many of you, it's a Saturday, I would hope, it would be awesome if you could participate or at least come by and see it in action.
I believe Sandra said she wanted to be a judge.
Yes,
Okay.
Sandra is signed up to be a judge.
Is she really?
Oh, yes. Oh, there was no stopping that. Absolutely. Sandra has been excited about that from the minute that I started working here. It was the first thing she said to me, I think.
And is this through Champs, or is this through the school?
So Champs is the school. The,
Yeah, well,
the stipend for Mr. Healy, who's co-facilitating it with Renee, is being paid through Champs.
Okay, cool.
So yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
It's
Got
us
it.
and Champs together.
Perfect.
So again, huge thank yous to Renee and to Mr. Healy, because it's really cool for our kids. And again, it's the kind of thing the kids get to go compete around the state and participate and see themselves on that playing field, and just grows their sense of efficacy. You know, they can get out there and do things, and that just makes them so much world ready.
Thanks for getting this out on Facebook as well.
And we also had received a grant. So all the drones, the drone equipment, the fees in order to compete, because there's a fee for each team, were all grant funded this year.
Awesome. Nice.
Do we anticipate, is that a grant that we might be able to get again?
I will certainly do my best.
It's not a one and done.
It doesn't have to be, but they do give preference to beginning teams, which is why I was able to get it. But
We're still beginning.
I'm also making sure that I volunteer at lots of competitions, and I've already spoken to the Northeast Regional, who sort of gives out the grants, and said, how can I help?
And that was the company that's behind this, wanted to
Yes.
talk to you and our kids,
Yes,
and
she interviewed us, so
Yeah.
I felt good about that perhaps we can continue.
Good.
thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll highlight just a couple things under operations. Obviously, if you have questions about anything on here, I'm happy to go on all night. You know I will happily, but some of these are self-explanatory. As far as the roof goes, the Board of Selectmen did vote to put it out to referendum, so it's sort of out of our hands at the moment. Paul is figuring out what the referendum would need to say, and they are targeting potentially a March referendum.
24th, I believe.
Well, March 17th is the meeting to
Right.
accept, to vote on the referendum,
And
and
then
then
it'd be
March
the
4th,
24th.
March 17th is the day you vote on it.
24th.
24th, I'm sorry. So
Seems like
17th
St.
and the
Patrick's
24th.
Day. So that's an update on that. The preschool, the night of the Board of Selectmen meeting, the Board of Selectmen approved using some of the leftover funds that had been set aside to research the roof project, to research the preschool project. Our town manager, Paul Harrington, reached out to Downs Construction, who is very active in school construction in Connecticut. I'm meeting them at the school Friday morning. the service that they would provide the town is under the budget that the Board of Selectmen allocated, and would provide us with conceptual drawings and a conceptual estimate so that we'd know what we were really saying if it goes forward.
How does that work with Silver Petrocelli, which was the former concept designer and construction company?
What do you mean?
Because if this is a preschool program that would be built on Hinsdale, Hinsdale was largely built
Oh,
by
no, this
Silver.
is for the roof. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry,
preschool
sorry,
expansion.
Preschool, yeah, sorry.
It's,
I mean,
so it's a new project.
It's,
Right.
it would be- obviously go out to bid, right?
Yeah, this
Or
is just
This is the spec?
you can't get any further without, this isn't like the big specs, this is conceptual, this is a cut above what we had at our meeting where we had like a pencil drawing.
So who decided Downs Construction versus, say, Silver Petrocelli, who had already built the building?
So these are professional services which don't require a bid, and they're also, I think the fee for this is about $13,000. I could be way wrong on that. That is
No,
truly
I
just a
think it
memory.
was- I think it was well below what was expected.
Right. So it doesn't require a bid at this stage, because this is really just getting enough to know what you're talking about.
But you're asking
Right,
who
but why
asked?
not Silver Petrocelli
Yeah,
giving us enough,
you're asking
so that we're talking about?
Why Downs?
Right.
Because Paul has worked with them in
It's
other
Paul.
districts, and they've just recently done a huge preschool project in, I won't remember the name of the town right now, but they've just done like $100 million project with a similar concept for preschool, so he felt they had the knowledge,
it's
the
Paul's.
background,
Paul's
and
is-
could step right in, and in fact, they've made themselves available, they got us, quote within days, and they're coming out this Friday because they understand our timeline, said it's totally reasonable. Hopping down to principal search update, I just wanted to let you all know we have posted the position on CT REAP, which is the educator dashboard. We're gonna get it up on our LinkedIn, and we are promoting it as widely as we can to rustle up a good candidate pool. At the same time, I've launched a survey to staff, a different version of a similar survey to families, and a different version of a similar survey for students to sort of create that profile. So we'll hear from families what's most important to them in a next principal, from the staff. I also offered next Wednesday, we have a PTO meeting, and immediately following that, and I'll send a reminder to families, but I'll hold court, if you will, for anybody that would come in and want to discuss it rather than just do a Google survey. So we're giving it a minute to gather the applications, and then we'll go into a process of culling the applications down to a reasonable list, doing a very large committee process that will include, I'll be talking to you tomorrow when we meet about, I'd love to invite one board member to participate on the committee, and then Kurt will participate with me in the finalist interview at the end, so that there's some board participation. Administrative positions, ultimately, you all have the approval for, so once we have our finalist candidate, it'll be on a board agenda. If, depending when we get there, if you want to go into executive session with that candidate, I have to double check if you could do that personnel issue. You probably could interview them in an executive session, or we might just present, I'll leave it to Kurt probably when we get to the end to decide if we're just so thrilled and we know we've got our one person, maybe we just have them come to the meeting like we've done with other positions and let them say hello at that point. But ultimately, I'll bring their materials, their resume, and you'll all vote on if they're the right person. But before it gets to that, we'll do a large committee, I was starting to say, with the teachers union, teachers, parents, a board member, I'd like to include a student, and then other staff from the building, probably Pearson's main office, executive assistant, maybe one a paraeducator, really try and get people from every aspect of our district. And there'll be a performance task when our candidates come that day, and then we'll bring them back for a second time, narrow that down from a larger pool to maybe 3, 4, depending on what the pool looks like, to come back and do something where they interact with students and staff, so we can sort of see if they walk the walk. Because there's, I feel, a huge difference between what a candidate shows you in an interview. Oftentimes, someone who doesn't interview fabulously, but you just have a hunch, they come back and they just knock it out of the park once you put them in front of kids and teachers, and so, thus the multi-step process, so that you don't fall in love with someone who's a great interviewer but actually can't do the job, and vice versa.
I mean, is the current teacher staff part of that pool? Can they be
They
part of
can,
that pool?
sure, they have to hold administrator certification. So they'll come back for that second visit, and then if the committee is able to narrow it down to two top candidates, Kurt and I would do those last two interviews and figure it out, working with the recommendations of the committee, and then bring you the person that we want to hire. It's a very confidential process. Sometimes people who apply either already work here in district and we want to protect their privacy, or they might be administrators in another district, and that other district sadly might feel offended if they knew they were interviewing. So we try really hard to convey to all the people involved that it is confidential, and that's why by the time we're bringing someone to you, it's one person, and we're pretty certain, because we don't want to bring two people to you and have one person have to be, ousted in public, and then, yeah. So that's the update on that.
I'm sorry, what was the due date? You think you'd bring somebody to us? A month?
If all goes well, I'm hoping to bring someone to the board at the April board meeting.
April, okay.
Figure the applications will be coming in throughout February. By late February, beginning of March, we could be doing that first stage. Middle to late March, we're doing the second round, and finishing up third round as we're moving into April. I'm thinking that our board meeting is probably right before the April break, but I can't swear that. So whenever it is, we would be, that's what we're aiming for. April 7th, okay. Maybe. If not, there's always May. Should make it. Community cafe. I think I have a superintendent's advisory committee that I've been meeting with, or advisory council, that is just fabulous. Real powerhouse group of parents who've stepped up and are coming and really just being a think tank for me about the district and where we're headed and the things we need to focus on. And one of the things we talked about is that the world has changed an awful lot since the last time the mission and the vision statements were looked at, and that it would be a really good time to launch a conversation around who we are and why we exist. So it's my intention to, I think I put it on here, February 28th, on a Saturday afternoon at the end of February, sort of kick that off and host, and I'll be getting invitations out to faculty, staff, board members, to get a lot of people in a room and just ask good questions about why the Winchester Public Schools exist and what we hope to be in the community and for kids. And I think that will really help guide everything we do throughout the budget season as well as in the coming years. It's just time to give it a little refresh and see where we are.
That's a Saturday.
Yeah, I thought that was our best hope of getting good attendance from the community. We thought Saturday afternoon, the basketball games are over, maybe one parent can take some kids home and other parents could stay. Evenings we know are hard, nobody wants to come out in the evening. So the advisory group thought a Saturday afternoon, but if someone thinks there's a better shot, I'm wide open.
Not for me to say.
Let's see. I wanted to briefly just tell you, I'm so excited that we have a lot of different groups within the staff. We have paraeducators, and we have the custodians, and we have the executive assistants and the teachers, and at this point we have updated the performance review plans, I think, for every single group. We had some groups that at some point in the past years there had been a little frou-frou with the union, and they had been sort of told cease and desist, you can't do evaluations, and so I worked closely with that union to push past that and figure out what the issue was and create performance reviews where they didn't even exist previously. and worked with the paraeducator group to redo the model they had was sort of like a point system, like checking off boxes and totaling it up. And the administrators as a group worked to figure out what the essential components of each role was and move to something more narrative and growth-based. So people are doing a self-evaluation or a self-review mid-year where they look at the different areas of the job and say, yeah, I'm doing a good job with this, yeah, I could work on that. And the administrators follow suit, just with narratives. Performance reviews are not, there's probably some industries where it all adds up to a point scale and you get fired if you're not hitting it. That's not who we are. We're a place of professional growth and development. And so at this point, we're able to evaluate or provide feedback to all the people who work for us in a meaningful way. And I think that's a great shift for us, and we're very excited. We're piloting everything for our mid-year cycle right now, and then we'll regroup again in the spring and tinker, if anything, if we didn't quite hit the right categories. But it's been really good teamwork from all of the people involved, all the unions and the administrators. Northwest Community College each year hosts a legislative breakfast. They get all the area legislators in a room, I think, just to promote the importance of the community college system here in Connecticut. They do a really nice job. They always have students speak about their experience. It was an awesome experience, and it always is. And I just wanted to commend all of you for the Board of Ed retreat. I thought your participation was phenomenal. I thought it was really valuable, and I enjoyed listening and watching and really appreciated your presence, not just your physical presence, but your intellectual presence and engaging with it. So I just wanted to give you kudos for that.
The SSO hiring?
Oh, yes. So actually, we have an SSO for Pearson School. I didn't highlight it because when I did this afternoon to prep, I wasn't 100% sure, but we have an accepted offer to the SSO for Pearson School. And tomorrow we will start doing onboarding and all the things. We anticipate a February 18th start date, and I will invite him to the next regular board meeting to be introduced.
So we can meet, yeah.
I think we found a really good guy.
So this would be March.
Probably. I can't remember, but probably.
Okay.
Great. Anything else? Any questions on that wasn't highlighted?
Julie, just so I understand the review plans, these are the ones that are filed with the state of Connecticut for teachers and,
So
or is that something different?
Teachers, you have to provide your PDEC plan
Yeah.
to the state.
This is different.
Nothing else. Well,
This is-
so we did continue to work on and improve our teacher growth and development plan.
Okay.
But this in particular, in addition to continuing to work on our teacher plan, we've taken on paraeducators, BTs, speech and language, custodians, secretaries,
Okay.
all the people.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, moving on to item D, committee reports. Finance Committee, we're ongoing in the budget process, and we are hoping within the week, possibly, to get to a budget that we can vote on and approve, so we can pass it along to the Board of Selectmen to do their job, and move this forward to get it to referendum. So we got a lot of work to do between now and then, but hopefully within the next few days, next week, we have something to bring forward. Teaching and Learning Committee.
Yes, we met and Dr. Luby had us play a game with acronyms that are commonly used in education, so it was really fun to learn that way. And then Ms. St. Hilaire also gave us a presentation about different testing ways that we use the data and kind of how things look for the students. So that was really helpful as well. Thank you for that.
Policy committee.
We have various policy updates on our agenda brought to the full board, along with the meal charging and purchasing policies being brought to the full board for first read. It was a pleasure to meet with Dr. Luby to go over these policies, and I look forward to working on them.
So you're the reason we're gonna be here late tonight. Cool.
Jonathan and I are so determined, we are finishing the switch over.
Awesome.
We are. It's a board goal and we're gonna make it happen.
The Gilbert School Committee, we have not met. We do not have anything to report as of yet. I know the budget is.
Actually, Michael, Susie, and I met this morning and
Okay.
talked a little bit. I can update you tomorrow, and the next time we do committees, we can
Perfect.
go a little further.
Awesome. All right, on to item E, liaison report, Gilbert School Court.
Policy 7551, naming of facilities was approved, while an abundance of others went to second read last meeting. Head of School Mike Susi presented his budget to the Gilbert Corps on the 6th of this month, and a following meeting will be held tomorrow evening. And Tony Sullivan was also celebrated for his 40th anniversary of his continued service to the Gilbert School.
Yeah, he was there when I was there. Not that I'm that old. Don't laugh at that. No, that was even. All right, on to item 7, information items, enrollment reports.
Super. Okay, enrollment data is here for you. I'll just point out that not a lot of movement since last month. Hinsdale's up 1, Pearson's down 1. So nothing particularly exceptional to note there. May I go on to attendance?
Yes.
Okay, on the attendance, I will point out to you that average daily student attendance, which again, if you look at the January number, 93.1%, that means that on average in the month of January, 93% of our students were in school every day. I'm not saying that well, but if you take any day in the month, the average is 93% would have been, 93% of the students would have been there that day. In my mind, a great target to shoot for is 95% overall, so we're working on that. You're always going to expect your winter months to be a little bit lower. So I was pleased to see that in January, the average daily student attendance was a little better than it was at the same time last year. Just a little bit, but nonetheless better. Under chronic absenteeism, I think the state would like us to be under 10. I would like us to be under 5%, and that again is the number of students who were absent 10% or more during the window of time. So in any one month, 2 absences will make you chronically absent. So this is one of those funny statistics that smooths out by the end of the year, because out of 181 days, you have to be absent 19 days, I guess, to hit chronically absent versus the 2 in any one month. So, it does smooth itself out. We're not particularly far off of where we were at this time last year, but I would point out that Pearson has shown, had a really good month in January, so keep up the good work, Barb. And know that this is a front and center topic for both schools, and they're working really hard to improve those numbers.
Okay. Personnel report.
The only thing I want to highlight to you here is, again, the safety officer will come off the list, because as of about 4 p.m. today, we had that tied up. And under new hires, I'll just point out to you that we are always looking to bring on substitutes. If anyone wants to be a substitute teacher, secretary, nurse, paraeducator, we welcome you to get on board to substitute in any areas for which you're interested and qualified, and you can be more than one and then go into our attendance system and pick and choose jobs across groups. So we are always eager to bring on board more substitutes.
Our new hire was in there in Pearson yesterday, and part of her job was to be cafeteria aide. And then she had to sub for one of the sixth grade teachers, and she told the other sixth grade teachers, "You guys deserve more money than you get." So, if anyone wants to know what goes on in our schools, please feel free. Make an appointment, come see what goes on every day, and see if what our teachers and everyone, our staff is earning, if they're actually earning what they deserve to earn, or if they deserve more. So,
It is hard work for sure. We actually have
make an appointment.
Yes, I will happily take anyone for a walk if they want to sort of be in the schools while the magic is happening.
That goes for us too.
Absolutely. And I should mention, I did write to the Board of Selectmen and invite them to come and walk the schools with me and also walk through the budget line by line.
Great.
So far, 2 Board of Selectmen members have responded to make an appointment, so.
Excellent. All right, on to monthly budget summary.
Yes. The first page, which of course captures the highest level look of all the things, I'll just draw your attention to the projected year-end balance. As it sits today, looks like we will escape with $12,000 to spare. Nancy, you're the math guy. $12,000 as a percent of 20, well, on that line, 24 million. Oh, that should be easy math. Is that 1/2 of 1% or? That is incredible budgeting, because to come that close takes some doing.
But good, just make every dollar you were supposed to.
Yes. Not all in exactly the ways that we planned it. I'm gonna highlight that on page 23 of your packet. I think one of the questions last budget meeting was about, well, don't we have some vacant positions, and how does that work itself out? So I'll just draw your attention, if you look, the personnel expenses show that we would have $565,000 left. But then when you get down to the bottom of the page, you'll see that the non-personnel expenses are over by $553,000, leaving that $12,000 balance. Again, these are estimates at this point with projections, because obviously we're only halfway through our year. But I wanted to show you where that overage is going. So for example, for people when we have not filled the position, whether it's sub-nurses, whether it's a speech and language pathologist who we've brought on through an agency, which then becomes a professional technical service in the 300 line. So as an example, we have a speech teacher coming out of there instead of personnel. For the remainder of this year, we are contracting for someone to do all of our student information system work, Power School state reporting. So that's moving from a salary line to a professional services line. But the biggest place where we would have come up short is the pupil transportation, which is not a reflection of our local daily buses. We know going into the year what that will cost, but that is the unplanned expenses for special education, out-of-district tuition and transportation.
McKinney-Vento?
In this budget, that probably is in that number as well. The pupil transportation line would have the McKinney-Vento, which I think we're at, was it about 80,000 this year so far for McKinney-Vento?
60 so far.
60 so far.
I think we budgeted like 10.
Yeah.
60 over.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And next year you've changed that for this
Yes.
current, yeah.
And then I'll just bring you over to the grant page, and I'll just highlight for you, because I know we're looking for potentially ways to defray next year's budget. And I appreciate the idea of considering if we would use the 440 line to that end, and
So
I'll,
that's 682.
right. And the worry with that we have to just be mindful of is if you do that, you're creating a hole in the following year. But, you know, as a pie-eyed optimist, as Paul Harrington said to me one time, I only worry about it 1 year at a time. It's not great practice to create budget holes like that, but we do know that we are faced with incredible health insurance increases that they tell me are worse than everyone else's because we were paying less than everyone else. So if we've had our local market correction, hopefully our increase next year in health insurance would look more typical like everyone else's. And hopefully ECS goes up, and hopefully the grand list goes up, and so it's a gamble if we do that, and it may be, you know, the board will have to decide an appetite for that, but that's what I wanted to point out is if you look, there are some other lines where we're projecting some money left, so I wanted to show you, if you look at the 634 line, for example, that is IDEA, which is special education funding. We're looking at 108 carryover funds for next year. I want you to go down one line and back up to the column, fourth one in, where it says fiscal year 2026 budget. And I've explained to you at a previous meeting, but I just want to show you again that the way we manage our federal grants as a safety net is that we spend half of the last year's and half of the current year's. So we're spending the full amount in each year, but we are living across 2 budget years, so that if the sky ever fell, we would have half of last year's and all of this year's, and then the crisis would be postponed till the following year. So when you see 108 left in IDEA, that's because that's exactly, almost to the penny, the amount that we brought into this year. So again, that's that swing. Similarly with the Title I, 44,000 left over. We came into this year with 34. The Title II, 9,000 going to 12,000. So you see the pattern there that isn't like leftover of what we plan to spend. That's what we intended to leave over for the following year. The 440 is the only place where it's just there.
We, on 639, line 6, Alliance, the wind is still such that we should get the 200,000 from the state?
Yes,
Okay.
at least for this year. You know, for the current, for the fiscal year
This
27.
coming 27, okay.
There are threats, the state is questioning Alliance, they're considering disbanding it or throwing out the graduates. We are graduated, if you will, because our achievement data is relatively solid compared to Alliance standards.
Right,
But so far, we are still grandfathered in.
okay.
So just understanding, if we're kicked out of the alliance, we join a larger pool with the state for funding, right, for grant.
We lose that money, don't we?
We lose that money, but then.
Neither one of those things.
No.
Well, we lose, so my belief, my understanding is that 200 is actually carved out of our ECS allocation. So if we weren't an Alliance district any longer, I believe that 200,966 would actually would revert back to the town as part of the ECS allocation.
Okay.
So it would go into Frank's conversation, it would become money we can't put towards our budget except in the narrative.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Quarterly food service financial summary.
So, you may remember, we used to do this monthly, and it was just a whole lot of crazy because not a lot happens in a month, and we have to wait for Ed Advance to get the receipts to us. I mean, it's literally counting ice cream money. So, we went with a format where we would bring this to you quarterly for a more meaningful look. So what I want to point out to you on this first page is just that we budgeted this year a 6,000 subsidy. You can't not cover your food service program, so whatever it doesn't bring in against its costs, we have to make up the difference. In the coming year, I believe we've budgeted 20,000, 10,000 in the supply area, which is like the food and forks, and 10,000 in the salary piece, the wages line. So currently, we're projecting that we will have to contribute 20,000 to make the program break even. And Nancy and I are gonna continue to do a little bit of analysis. If you turn the page, I'll show you meal volumes. So bear with me. The left side of the page the left 4 bars reflect the first quarter of 2026, which is actually July, August, September. So that involves, if you'll remember, we give out meals every Wednesday in the summer. So there was not a lot of difference between the first 2 columns, the blue and the orange, are breakfast 25, breakfast 26, and then it's lunches 25, lunches 26. I'm not sure how one could go up and the other goes down when we're handing it all out together, but I'll work with Nancy to understand that better. The right-hand set of bars is the second quarter, which is October, November, December. And you'll see that our daily lunches are almost identical to last year. Our breakfasts are less. I would expect that our supplies line should also then be trending less than last year because we're selling less. Speculations around that have to do with 2 things, and we're looking into both. One is we did make a change in the way we distribute breakfast. We went back to what we used to do before COVID, but at COVID we started eating in the classrooms. That was wildly unpopular and unclean.
Unpopular for who?
I think maybe everybody. It was causing the start of the school day to be murky. Kids would be coming in and sort of eating breakfast throughout the morning, interfering with like, hey, we're here to learn. It was creating dirty classrooms. The custodians, with only 2 people in a building the size of Pearson School, are not vacuuming closely every classroom every night. So it was considered a great thing to move it to the cafeterias. We know that that probably to some degree decreased this number, although we are working heartily to grab the kids as they come in the door and shoo them to the cafeterias where they're eating. The other piece is I'm getting a lot of feedback that the quality of the breakfast is a lot of prepackaged, sugary, like donut-y, Danish-y kind of stuff. And so another conversation we're having is what could we do to improve the quality of the breakfast so that perhaps the numbers would go up because the kids would value it more.
It's a significant drop.
Okay. On to item F, shipment policy, first read, meal charging policy.
This policy, and we talked about these at the policy meeting, but I know you weren't all there, basically doesn't really apply to us a whole heck of a lot because we don't have a lot, we provide free breakfast and lunch for all students. Meal charging policy really kind of came about because of shaming that was happening in schools where they would say, sorry, you can only have a cheese sandwich, or sorry, you can't have anything, you've overdrawn your lunch account. And so it became necessary to create policies to prevent schools from withholding things from kids if their lunch balance was negative. If kids have more than 1 meal, they have to pay for it. But largely, this is not a thing for us, but it is a required policy.
It's a thing for us when it comes to ice cream, isn't it?
So that's a little different. Yep, they do have to pay for the ice cream, and boy, does that cause a lot of gnashing of teeth.
It does.
Ugh. The purchasing policy, again, is a required policy. We have an existing policy. This is fairly similar, but again, we're going from, the reason we're looking at this is from the transition between the CABE policy and the shipment policy. Our existing CABE policies had not been updated all that recently, so they probably were not adhering to all of the most recent rules and laws. So those 2 are, I'll say, new in the sense that it is our first time with the shipment policies, which is why it's on tonight as a first read to give you an opportunity to sort of absorb it, and then at the next meeting, it'll be under an action item to give you the opportunity to adopt it at that point if you choose to.
Okay, on to, speaking of action items, on to item 8, action items, existing policy updates. First one is non-discrimination community.
I'm gonna suggest, with your permission, all of the items in this list are on for a single read these are all policies that you recently adopted. So you have recently scoured them and done all the things with them. And then yet, even after we recently adopted them, laws change. So they have all been updated either to match the law, or in some cases, they have very specific information in them, like where to make a complaint about Title IX, and so they had to update the address for that. Nothing in here changes any decisions that you had made as a board at any point. You know, there's a couple policies like transportation, you have some discretion where we decide what our walker zone is. None of these are those. These are all policies. Enormous thanks to Tiffany, who's took all of these alongside our existing shipment policies that you perused and approved to see if we had altered them in any way previously so that we didn't lose that, and there was nothing like that. So these are what you already approved with only required updates.
The budget, the line item transfer budget question, the Series 3000 on business, why is it asked that the bargaining unit look at that annual, I mean, what they're doing is requiring
It's in
to
the
compile an
legislation.
annual report, but any idea why an executive bargaining, or exclusive bargaining group would look at that? Is it for negotiation purposes? Just out
Oh,
of curiosity.
They must have lobbied legislator and asked to be written into it. They could want it for exactly that, for bargaining.
Salary, benefit, negotiation, okay.
Okay, we'd like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 12 in the existing policy updates. Motion made by Jonathan. Can I get a second?
Second.
Christine, all in favor? Unanimous?
I love you guys. Thank you.
All right, on to item B, paraeducator contract.
Perfect. You have a summary here. I'll just highlight a couple things. This was the scheduled 3-year negotiation of the paraeducator contract. Big thanks to Nancy, who every time we go into a contract negotiation has to do a lot of number crunching and figure out how many people on each step and what every possible outcome would cost. We had a very positive experience with the paraeducator union. Our local paraeducator union representatives, Lois Carey and Sandy Garcia, thank you. I could picture her face, couldn't get it quick enough. Sandy Garcia were lovely to interact with, and Emily D'Amico, or something close to that, from their larger group also was great. We were able to put some things in that were important to us. The one thing I'll highlight to you is, in the past, there's been a lot of changes over the years to the para contract, going from like 13 steps down to 4 steps, and there was no rhyme or reason to, I think the idea was you would move a step every year, except that ours was always frozen. That is very defeating to employees to be stuck on step, and so what we negotiated was that each step is 5 years. So we don't, like, you kind of are frozen, but we don't have to freeze it. People can look at that and say, after I've been here 5 years, I will move to step 2, and after another 5 years, I will move to step 3. There were a lot of things we liked about that, but we felt it would build longevity with paraeducators. You know, if you're in year 4, you're not leaving. You're just about to take a step and get a raise. What I do want to say to you is that the starting rate for a paraeducator in our current contract is $18.91 an hour. If you've not looked at it lately, minimum wage is $16.94 an hour. So we are just shy of $2 above minimum wage for a job that, while it doesn't have enormous requirements in terms of, like, you don't need a college degree, but it requires an enormous amount of patience and skill in working with some of our most needy students. If you take 183 days that the paras work times their hours, their salary is $22,493. So I wanted to say that out loud, lest anyone think that, our paras are, getting a free ride with the 3% increase or something. The reality is.
Do they get that every year or only on the 5th year? So you're saying a step is 5 years?
Yes.
So they get a total annual increase of 3.7 for 5 years?
So each individual doesn't get that. The way Nancy's got this here is to show you like what the cost to the district is of this contract over 3 years will be 11.7%.
So it's annual? That 3.7% is annual?
No, so the 3% is annual. Everyone would have a 3% raise regardless. And if you hit a 5-year marker, then you
have
would
to-
also switch columns. So
So
right
you go up
now.
to 4.1 then?
No, those on the right are calculated by saying, based on the people who work here today, everybody's gonna get a 3% increase. And the number of people who happen to also move columns,
So they, 5 years?
right, so
Okay.
if, let's say 11 people are hitting 5 years, where I said 1891 is our starting number, there's a different number that's like 50 cents more as step 2, maybe 50 cents more as step 3, and 50
Okay.
cents more as step 4.
Got it.
So everybody would have a 3% increase, again, on an 1891 base.
Got it.
So
A
we-
dollar something.
not even,
Yeah.
not even. It's 18 cents times 3, so
Okay.
54 cents. Like, it's a 60-cent raise. And it's real money, and people are happy to make it, I'm sure, but, these are very hard jobs to fill, and without people in these jobs, we can't run our school district. So, I wish I was in a position to have negotiated against interest and provided more increase so that we could hire more easily, but obviously I can't do that, but I thought 3% on these low numbers was very fair. And we did get some things, we were able to increase the premium cost share for insurance. Our goal, Nancy and I, is to have all of the groups contributing 20%. So every time we negotiate a contract, our opening bid is we want 20% each year. We don't need to go beyond that, but that is like an industry standard, if you will, and we're trying to get there.
How many people does this affect?
Paraeducators, we probably have 35?
35.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. We
Okay.
had 34 in the budget, and, yeah, so about 35 now.
Okay.
I knew that one. Thank you.
This obviously has been, our budget has reflected this, like,
It is allowed for in the budget, but it's not reflected in the line, because when we made the budget, we hadn't finished
We hadn't
negotiating.
finished this,
So
yeah.
there's a line in the budget called unawarded reserve.
okay.
And that's where we put funds for contracts that are not yet settled, so that, because if you put the amounts in the line, like paraeducator wages, then you wouldn't have a very strong negotiating position.
So, so you have the GWI, right?
Mhm.
Which amounts to 11.7 over 3 years. And then you have step costs,
No, it's 9% GWI over 3 years.
3.7 plus 4.1 plus.
The
3.1.
GWI, right there. This part,
3%.
3% a year.
Okay, so total increase with steps is 3.7.
Right.
And 4.1 and 3.9
Right, so 11.7%
over
increase in our cost
Yeah,
over 3
3
years.
years. Okay.
Which is not a high settlement. It's less than our teacher's contract last year, I think was 11.9 maybe, or 12.9, something close to that.
Other districts across the state that I was able to get information from, they were all talking like 12%, so we actually did pretty well.
Okay.
And again, it's sort of against interest, because I wish that we were paying more so that we could get people and they would feel compelled to stay and feel like it was worth their time. People who work for us do it because they are mission-driven.
Mm.
Obviously, no one's working here to be wealthy. And so that is on as an action item. If you feel satisfied, you would make a motion to approve the paraeducator contract for the upcoming 3-year period. The paraeducator union has met and ratified the contract. They've accepted it on their end. So they would just need a motion from you all that you also accept it.
I make a motion to accept as
Nora?
presented.
Second. Eleanor, all in favor? Unanimous. Awesome. Moving on to item 9, public comment.
We got one.
Oh, hold
got
on, let me read it. The Winchester Board of Education welcomes you to its business meeting. There are 2 opportunities to set aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome and encourage public participation as a valued part of communicating input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following. Complete the requested information on the sign-in sheet if you wish to speak. State your name and address when called upon to speak. You'll be allotted 3 minutes to share your comments. Please be advised that it is not the practice of the Board of Education to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendent of schools will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. We appreciate your time and thoughtful commentary. Would anyone wish to speak?
I do.
Awesome.
Glad to give you everything. Winchester, 82 Boyd Street. I'm here representing you guys as your liaison. I don't know if you guys talked about the roof or not before, so I was across the street. The town approved it. It's gonna go to referendum. I believe that's gonna be in March, so we have to get that passed. The other thing is that the Board of Selectmen, with the mayor signing a letter to the state of Connecticut, to the governor and everyone, to try to get some extra money with the ECS. There was a press conference today with a bunch of the people, the president from the Connecticut Council of Municipalities, Mayor Molly Spino spoke about. So it's not just this district that's hurting, it's all the school districts. They say, would you like to increase your budget by 40%? Then pack up and move to Massachusetts, because they are getting 40% more than we are here in the state of Connecticut.
Wow.
So we need to keep reaching out to our legislatures, which I know some of the other Board of Selectmen are doing that. I will be doing it myself as well, reaching out that it's time that the state starts dishing out all the taxes that we're paying. Because I was here for your budget meeting, and we can't keep pushing this off on homeowners to be increasing this, because we're gonna be taxing our homeowners right out of their homes, and that's exactly what they said today. The mayor of New Haven was there, the mayor of Hartford was there, so it's not just us, it's everybody in the whole state. The state of Connecticut is sitting on a $4 billion slush fund, surplus. I think it's time that we get some of our money back. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, that that's what we have to do. And hopefully they'll do something. And it's not like, let it come in increments. Like the mayor of New Haven said, we need some relief now, not later, not down. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that $200 credit, I don't think is going to.
Yeah, they'll hit that on your public service charge for your, which by the way, is a tax.
Would anyone else care to speak? Not seeing anyone. Move on to item 10, future agenda items and board member comments.
I did want to add a future agenda item. I wanted to just pick up that conversation about the joint Facebook page again. I think it'd be really valuable to get all the information out to families. When I was campaigning, one of the things a lot of parents said is it's really difficult to get to the meetings. And then to watch a 2-hour meeting is also difficult too for busy parents. I think a nice little summation that we share would be really beneficial, just to get information out to the community.
Okay. Yeah, and as I told Christine, the reason we left it off this agenda was we were gonna have back-to-back meetings, and I figured it'd be jam-packed, so leaving it for March was, I thought, the best option, so. And that will give us plenty of time to still get it out to the public before we need to get the vote out, so. Okay. Anything else? Any board member comments?
Well, you have a model for the Facebook page. I think kudos to you, Christine, and putting out something that's already been a summation of the matter of facts, which I thought was very
What I would do
helpful.
is I would take Tiffany's minutes and just make a summation. I would actually use ChatGPT because that way it keeps it very information only and there's no like opinion or anything slipping in. It's just purely information and then we're just getting the information out.
Just make sure you proofread it if you're putting it in
Oh, my
chat.
goodness, yes.
Yes, yes. Well, because there's also some things that
It makes up
ChatGPT
its
leaves
own
out.
stuff.
Or some, yeah, like you always read through everything. And I believe we talked about how there'd be multiple hands in these things before it goes anywhere.
Yep. Perfect. Anyone else? Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Shane? Jonathan? All in favor? Unanimous, I think. Frank?
Yes.
No, Frank wants to stay.
I want to stay.
You were
Frank's
outvoted,
amazing.
Frank.
Wait till I gotta take my pills at 9:15. We gotta sit here.
Christine, what did I say?